All right, guys, welcome back to the first impressions of the iPhone 16 Pro. This is a little over 24 hours later, and I wanted to go ahead and discuss some things about the phone. Decided to go ahead and just start using it because there's really not much to an unboxing. It really isn't. They don't give you anything in the packaging, but this is what the packaging looks like for the Pro models. It's just a picture of the front of the phone for the Pro models, and as you'll see in a little while, stay locked to the channel, you'll see that the 16 version has the reverse side, has the back of the phone. So why they do that, I don't know, but it's just a way to differentiate the devices, which is fine with me. But there's nothing in that box but a cable. There's no stickers. I didn't use the stickers anyway, but some people are really frustrated behind that, saying, oh, I don't get all my stickers. But reality is, I never touch those stickers. Let's do them in the trash. So the iPhone 16 Pro, and let me get my Pixel here, because the Pixel is, it's the one that's the closest. I posted some photos online and showing you the difference here, but I'm just going to get this out of the way. This is the footprint of two 6.3-inch screen phones from Google and Apple, and ironically enough, these both have 6.3 inches, and this is the technology. This is the, I guess, I'm not gonna say the magic, but this is the great thing about the Apple 16 Pro is that this iPhone is smaller and narrower. Believe it or not, some people thought that the iPhone was shorter and wider, or about the same, but no, it is a smaller footprint, even though they both have a 6.3-inch display. And I think that's impressive that they're able to do this right here. So if you want a small Pro version of either one of these companies, and you're deciding if size really is just a thing and you don't care which one you get, the iPhone 16 Pro is actually smaller and more narrow. In over video, you might not be able to tell too much, but there's definitely people out there I know that have both of these, and they'll confirm that this phone is actually it's crazy. When you look at it, it looks like the Pixel is narrower, but it is not. The iPhone 16 Pro is narrower, smaller, and it's just a smaller footprint, which I say is even better, because I thought this was a nice small size with a nice size screen. This is even smaller in footprint, and you're still getting a nice screen as well. So hardware on this 16 Pro is what you would want it to be, and I really would love that if Google were to have taken away these shiny sides here, but this is titanium here, so not that it really matters, but if they just did brush aluminum here, it would have been great too. But I do prefer the look of the Pixel 9 Pro a lot better. I love this visor right here on the Pixel. These look identical. It's just the camera module on the Pixel I prefer. But let's move aside from that, because I know some of you guys would probably ask about that. This is the iPhone 16 Pro, and it's been great. I fired it up and just started using it. Didn't want to, start doing an unboxing and make a long video of an unboxing, so I decided to just start using it so I could give you about 36 hours in or so with the battery question. So for me, the battery life has been pretty decent on here. It hasn't been great, but it is definitely good enough. I can definitely make it through a full day and a half, that's for sure. I mean, literally, I can go 36 hours for sure with the iPhone 16 Pro. Now, Apple is claiming that it has a bigger battery, and so it's going to have better battery, but reality is we don't really know yet. It's still only been just under 2 days of usage with this for me, but it is settling in, and I think the battery life is going to be better than my 15 Pro. The 15 Pro had really decent battery. I could make it through a solid day. Like, I can for sure give 24 to 28 hours of usage, or at least a full cycle without putting on the charger, at least 24 hours minimum. And at about 28, I'm starting to I need to put it on the charger. But this device, I can go for sure about 36 hours for the way I'm using the phone without putting it on the charger. So that's a good thing. Battery is something that Apple kind of focused on and they really hammered home about how home has going to have a better battery life than the previous generation, and they're also comparing it to older phones that they have. So I'm comparing it to, they skipped generations backwards, and I stayed more along with the one that's currently have is 15 Pro. So if you have a 15 Pro and you're concerned about how the battery life is going to be if you decide to switch, this will have better battery more than likely than your 15 Pro. And again, it's just those things that Apple does to kind of push you over to the next version. Now, unfortunately, some people, when it comes to software, the AI features won't be coming to some of the older phones, I've learned. And then, because it's not even on this phone yet, the Apple AI system is not even on this phone, but it won't be coming to some of the older generation phones, and some of the customizations and things that you can do with this phone are just not on some of the current phones. So I was showing people how to do the large design here, and then the tinted design. You can do all these things with this current model here. And some of you guys said, Jay, I can't even do that, and I have a 14, or I have a 15, or I have whatever. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Apologies for that. But you can change these to whatever you want. You can change the 10 on here, and you can do whatever you want on here, customize it. And I think that's pretty cool. That's something that I pointed out in another video. And another thing I pointed out is you can long press on some of these, and they require Face ID to view. And I think that's really nice to be able to require Face ID to view certain things, certain applications. This doesn't work with all applications, but it definitely works with a lot of the default applications. So pretty much all the Apple stuff, it'll work. And then, as you can see here with YouTube, this isn't a default Apple product or application, so it works with a lot of these. It works with your messaging and your music. I think I have it set that way. Yeah, you can have it set to not have access. So if someone gets in, if you leave your phone laying down and it's unlocked, they will not be able to view very important things on your phone. So if you have your mail, your text messaging, all these things, you can require to have Face ID. And I think that's a very important thing for a lot of people, because sometimes you might put your phone down and your child might walk up. So you can lock your photos if you want to. You can have it to where it's required for Face ID for that. I mean, you can have it for any of the, again, standard Apple things, but more importantly, a lot of the third-party applications are nice, and you can have it to where it is a requirement to open with the Face ID. And I think that's very important. I have a lot of mine set up that way. Now let's go over to settings real quick here, and I want to go down to messaging. Customizations is really nice. So we will go down to messaging here, and having the ability to now talk to pretty much anyone, whether it's on Android or iOS. Really, this is just for the system. This is for that broken system to work. Folks, don't turn this off. I mean, I'm making a request. You do what you want to do, but I'm making a request for you not to turn off RCS messaging, because you're just giving yourself the bad end of the stick. Unfortunately, I have seen some Apple people that are following this trend. I'm going to turn it off. I'm not messing with Android. That's just the wrong approach, I would say. But you do what you want to do. But I think you'll see you're missing out on some great opportunities here for us to talk to each other, whether it's on Android or iOS. And so that is how you go in and you make sure that that's on. Now, it is on by default. I did not turn this on, but the fact that Apple has a switch here for this is very childish. I think it's, I use the word childish a lot. I just think I don't have any other way to describe it. Like, why would you turn this off? Why wouldn't you want to keep the flow, keep the system flowing so we all can have a good experience? I just think that's crazy. I think it's weird that they have a switch there, and it's just that another form of control. So those are a few things that I want to point out on the software, the customizations. The RCS is so nice because I've already tested it to myself, to people. I've sent full-blown videos to myself, like full videos. If you don't know, if you're an Android person and you don't know about iMessage, which you should, but you don't know some of the functions of iMessage pretty much just goes over data, and you can send a full movie through iMessage. I have done it multiple times. I mean, like a full-length movie. I've sent it through iMessage just to send it to someone to watch, and they're like, "Oh, it's great," and that's that. So the ability to do that from Android to iOS now and send full HDR photos and things back and forth to each other, because Apple doesn't have the best cameras on the market for everything. Android phones definitely have superior cameras in a lot of ways, but that's the point. To say that is not to put down either one. It's just that you can get some very high quality content coming into your iPhone from an Android phone, and you wouldn't know it. You'll be able to now share when people send you things. It's a whole thing, folks. You got to learn and dig into that yourself. If you're an Android user or you're pro Apple, that's not there to cause problems. That's to resolve a problem. And RCS is secure. Now, hardware wise, we'd have this camera button here, which I've used a couple times, and I tested out the cameras on here. I'll get into that in a second, but man, I got to tell you, this camera button, I set mine to double press. So I'm going to go back into settings here, and I'm going to go to camera. Go to camera here. Now I set mine to double press right here. So you go to cameras, as you can see in the settings there, and you can actually change this. And see, again, another thing I like about having, before I get into that, another thing I like about having the ability to require Face ID for things, when I'm in videos now, I get a lot of messages, and you didn't see what that message was. And that is a good, some people pointed out online, oh, it's just for cheaters and stuff like that. But for me, doing content creation, it's so that I don't interrupt the video with my private messages, and things like that happen. So as you can see, that popped up, but you didn't see what the message was because I wasn't looking directly down on the phone, and so I didn't press on it to open it to require Face ID. That's huge. All right, so now when you click on the camera settings here, this is what you'll see. You'll see double click or single click. Now I have mine set to double click because I don't want to make a mistake in pressing this if it's in my pocket or something like that. I want to make sure that it's a double press and I'm intentionally opening the camera with this button here. So if in fact you are, and I'm gonna get to this right here. I'm gonna get to this because it's something important going on here, and I think you probably already see it. But having it at a double press, I think is good. It'll get you into there. So if you long press, it's going to go into video recording instantly, I believe. But just having quick access to it, I didn't like having it a single press, a single click. Now I haven't done any accidental presses with this, but I went on ahead and set it to double click just for the purposes of setting it to double click because I don't want to make any errors. Now let's get into the elephant in the room here. Clearly there's something going on here because only Apple products are in here for access to this camera button right now. But look who's there, Instagram. Instagram has a lot of users, and Apple obviously has probably partnered with them to give them access, this third-party app access to using the camera button. So just bear that in mind. You can set it to Instagram. Obviously down the line, you'll be able to set it to other applications, probably in some form of iOS 18 at the end of the year or something. I don't know for sure, but I think that's a good thing. You can use the camera, code scanner, Instagram, or magnifier, or you can just turn it off. So I'm going to leave it for camera right now because there is some functionality to it. And double pressing mine, as you can see here, it goes into the camera. So the software baked in here for the camera, it's the same. You just get a few more things here. When you lightly touch this, it instantly goes into action. So you don't have to do much with that. And if it's in video, obviously it's going to go to, you just give it a little bit of a press, a little nudge, and it'll go into the functionality of the camera. Now I tested the cameras on here, and man, was I impressed. Is it wow factor? No, it's not wow factor or anything different than what I saw on the previous generation 15 Pro that I use. I don't see, even the 14 Pro Max, I don't see that much difference in quality. But the fact is, you have functionality here that is just unmatched by a lot of other companies with quality. This is a very good quality set of video cameras, and the HDR photos are really nice. So being able to get high quality content out of here, because I've been using the crap out of these cameras, and I'm impressed, to say the least. So I suspect just me 36 hours in at the recording of this video, the design is still the same with the addition of this little hidden camera button right here. That's fine. But I think Apple definitely needs to do something new. And they did give us a 6.3-inch display on this Pro model, and the regular version still have the 6.1, which I think is the sweet spot for a lot of people. It's a good size. So you've got a beautiful screen here with 120 hertz. The 16 models still have a 60 hertz, but who's counting? Like, I don't think it really matters at this point. It's a good quality phone, and I'll discuss that later for that model. But for now, the 16 Pro to me is a good option for Pro users. You do get the addition of the telephoto lens, and you get some more additions to the camera quality, different cameras. You know, you get a 48 megapixel ultra wide now opposed to the 12, but people aren't really going to notice that because the quality is just still really good. So what do you have here? You have Apple coming out another year with ultimately the same phone with a few tweaks. You've got ultimately the same design, but you added a camera button for some more functionality for your cameras. You've got the same features and options, but iOS 18 takes it to another level and gives us a really solid. I like iOS 18. I was using iOS 18 beta, and beta 18.1 is out now, so for public use, that is, and it is smooth, no problems. This phone has beta 18.1. So software, you have Apple with a nice screen on here now. It went up in size a little bit from the previous generation Pro. Cameras are great, performance is solid, software is great, battery life will get better with time more than likely, and then the price is going to always be somewhat of a downfall for a lot of people. Some people have to finance this phone, and some people do a trade-in every year. Get in where you fit in. You're going to have to kick the coins out to play in this arena. There's no other way to say it. You have to have the bread to buy these phones. If not, you're going to be financing them, and there's nothing wrong with financing these phones as long as you're going to be staying with your carrier and you're not leaving, and it's beneficial to you. But if you're switching every year and you're not on any kind of special trade-in program and you're just buying it to buying it, I think you're probably losing money. So always stay with what you have. You don't have to buy every new phone that comes out from Apple, but at the same time, I think it's nice that Apple made some tweaks, but not enough to warrant, you know, for a person to switch every cycle. So this is the iPhone 16 Pro. I really like the black color this year. The white color is actually pretty sweet in person, but the new gold color is hideous in person. That is, when I was picking up this phone, I saw people excited about the desert color, desert titanium. I was thinking they're just buying this. This is just what I'm thinking. I'm not saying this is a fact, but I said to myself, they're just buying this desert titanium color just so people will know that they have the new iPhone, because that thing is ugly in person. No disrespect to people who bought the desert titanium, but it is the worst color of all the colors that were released from Apple in this generation. So it's your man Jay, the iPhone 16 Pro, it's a win. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.